Hello. Welcome to my channel. As you probably saw, I'm the Squirreler. Why did I choose that name? Well, I have ADHD, so it's a play on the squirrel meme from the movie Up. Also, I just love squirrels. Ever since I saw the teaser video for Pax Dei, I knew it was just the sort of game I'd been waiting for. It's a beautiful sandbox with no quests, no real storyline, a place where the players come together and build a world. A world that will someday be full of beautiful cities, villages, community conflict, and unbound potential. I started this channel because I wasn't necessarily finding creators who shared my gaming style or my philosophy. The channel Invader Kim does in many ways. She's a crafter and also values the aesthetic nature of games like I do. She does great guides as well. Beyond hers, there are many other valuable channels. Damone Kim, he's a great place to keep abreast of new developments and updates. And Moderately Tolerable is a perfect resource for succinct guides to the nitty-gritty aspects of the game. But one thing people have said about Pax Dei from its early access release is that it's not solo friendly. It's true that the developers wanted to encourage community, but that's not necessarily at odds with playing solo. Will some content, like top-tier dungeons, be out of reach of hardcore solo players? Yeah, probably. But as a solo player, that's probably not going to be your highest priority anyway. There's a reason why people play solo. I want this channel to focus on that. I think Pax Dei will absolutely be great for solo players. A player-created world is whatever you want to make of it. So I know that some of the developers of Pax Dei are from EVE Online. I played EVE Online for several years, and in many ways it's similar. It's a sandbox, and like Pax Dei, much of what's in the world is made by players, including the content. In EVE Online, you could join a clan, and some of the clans were huge, and you would fight other clans and take over whole regions of space in these epic battles. They were just enormous, but you didn't have to do that. You could play as a miner, you could play as a space pirate, you could play as a space trucker, just hauling goods from one planet to another. And I played as a trader. I would buy things on one end of the galaxy, usually ship parts, things that I could, that were small, that wouldn't fill up my inventory. I would buy them on one side of the galaxy for cheap, and then I would take them across the galaxy and sell them at a place that was paying more. It's arbitrage. And that's how I'd make my profit, and I actually became quite wealthy in that game because of that. And through that, I was able to buy the top tier ships. I was able to, well, not top tier, but I was able to buy very good ships and kit them out, and without all the grind that other people were going through. I say that because I believe Pax Dei will be very similar. I believe it will have a robust economy that if you know what you're doing, you'll be able to make a great deal of profit off of. And you won't necessarily need to grind all the crafts. And that's one of the statements against solo, is that people say that you need a clan because of the crafts. You need dedicated crafters to produce all the specialized gear and all that. But that's not true. If you have enough money, you can buy whatever you want. So a solo player who's good at business, who's good at arbitrage, who can find those markets and the products that people need, they won't need to grind. They'll just be able to buy the things they want. Solo players want to play on their own terms. They don't want to be told what they need to be doing by a guild leader, or they don't want to be pigeonholed into a career just because that's their role in a clan. A solo player wants to play the game the way they want to play it. I know I do. Some days I want to hunt. Other days I want to do gathering, or I might want to work on blacksmithing or weaponsmithing or armor smithing. But if I were in a clan, they would expect me to do my job. I don't want a job. I want to play a game. And hopefully I can teach independent-minded players how to do that. As the game evolves, there'll be so many different ways to solo this game. Dungeons aren't the end-all be-all. I have one character that I play. She's up in a mountain valley full of important herbs for alchemy and for brewing, fruits and whatnot for brewing. And that's what she does. She makes consumables. And I could see a player just doing that. There's nothing wrong with that. You could become wealthy just doing that. So I guess that's what I want this channel to be. A place where, especially solo players can find a community and find people that play like they do and, aren't so focused on min-maxing and so focused on dungeons. I think this game is way more than that. So I guess I should tell you a little bit about me. So I am older than video games. I was born in 1971. I got my first video game in 1976, I think. It was a Magnavox Pong console. Very basic game. Then the next year we got the Atari 2600. Space Invaders, Asteroid, Pac-Man, all that. And I played the heck out of that for years. And we went up to the Atari 800. And then I sort of skipped the early console era and didn't really get back into gaming until 1997 when I picked up PC gaming. And I've been PC gaming ever since. But this is a game. Pax Dei is the type of game that I've been dreaming about. There have been a lot of games that came close, but this one checks all the boxes, or it will check all the boxes once it's finished. I mean, we are in early access. The economy that I dream about hasn't been introduced. I just trust that they're going to deliver. And as an older gamer, I've been around. I've been playing games since most of my fellow players, since way before most of them were even alive. I've experienced a lot, not just in games, but in life. And I have different priorities, and I think there are other gamers who share that. Honestly, I kind of feel bad for gamers who think that everything has to be min-maxed. There's only the meta, and everyone's pushing for that meta. But it's like, they all end up the same, and they all end up having the same experience. And I don't think they derive the the joy that they should be out of games. They play their meta, they kill all the bosses, they clear all the dungeons, and then they're lost. They don't know what to do next, and they complain that there's no content. It's like eating an appetizer at a restaurant and then complaining that you don't have any more food, even though the full menu is there. And not just that menu, but every menu of every restaurant. I used to hike a lot, and some people are goal-oriented. They push for peaks. But once you get there, you look around, it's a beautiful view, and then there's a bit of disappointment. You turn around and you walk back. But what I've found is that the joy comes from the journey, not from reaching that goal. I've set out to summit several peaks, and as I hike along, maybe I find something that's more interesting, a waterfall, or beautiful plants, or a patch of berries, or some wildlife, and I just want to observe. And I forego that peak, I just decide that reaching the peak isn't necessary. I came out to enjoy myself, and so that's what I do, and that's the way I play games as well. So hopefully this channel will be a place for people like me, or people that want to discover new ways to play. Metas aren't everything, especially in a game like this. So how's this channel going to be structured? I don't know. Probably a lot like this. I don't think I'll be doing guides. It's just not my style. Plus, there are other creators that produce wonderful guides. They're passionate about it, and they're good at it. There's no need for me to copy them. I'm not so worried about, people make those because they're popular, and rightly so. But I think it's equally important to, explore the game in different ways. When I'm out in the environment in this game, I have a background in ecology, and so, I have a lot of thoughts about, the way things could be done better, or, weird things like the way the deer bark, stuff like that, I mean, elk make an amazing sound, both female elk and male elk, the male elk especially. And I think they're missing an opportunity not exploring that. Flax, for instance. Flax doesn't look like flax, like the flax in game. Flax is a beautiful blue flower. It's not this rusty, clumpy thing. But anyway, so I want to explore stuff like that. And also I study a lot of different things, so like history and whatnot, and I think it'd be fun to find parallels in the game to things in the real world and talk about that. But yeah, I will teach things along the way as I craft and whatnot, but they won't be structured as guides. That's just not my style. So yeah, I hope you join me in this journey, and subscribe and comment on my videos. I think we'll be able to build an interesting community. I don't think most people realize what Pax Dei is going to be. You know, when they introduce more of the content or more of the aspects of the game, like kingdoms and whatnot, the game is going to blossom. And I can't wait to see it. And I can't wait to experience it with you. But that's it. Like and subscribe. We have a long journey ahead of us. I think we're going to enjoy it.